Hey, John.
Hey, Eric.
You're a little bit further away this week.
I am indeed. I'm in the great state of Texas.
You staying warm?
Oh my gosh, so warm.
I shouldn't laugh, but yeah, it looks hot out there.
It was 99 degrees when we came outside from dinner at 9:30 p.m. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's pretty much like get into a nicely air-conditioned car, step out of this air-conditioned car into furnace, step into a hotel, nicely air-conditioned hotel, step out of nice. Anyway, what are you going to do? It is what it is.
Oof.
But it's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
How was your weekend?
It's a lot of fun. So, I'll even add a touch more follow-up to my whole grill fiasco. So,
Okay.
on Saturday, we went to the Beaverton Night Market. So it's downtown Beaverton. It's like a Saturday morning farmers market, except it's at night, and it has like live music and lots of different types of food. Like we ate. My boy wanted to eat Ukrainian food, so we went and had Ukrainian food at this place at a booth. But across the street from this is where I get all my grilling stuff. It's called PDX Grill Works.
Okay.
And, oh man, I hope that's the right name. Anyways, I went in there with my boy because we were going to be making some chicken. We wanted to try a different rub, and I needed some butcher's twine and a couple other things. So we go in there, and I mentioned to the guy about my Kamado Joe fiasco over 4th of July.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks at me and said, and then I notice that's where I bought my Kamado Joe like 2.5, 3 years, whatever it was, a while ago. And I noticed they don't have them anymore. And he's like, yeah, they got bought by some private equity company and their customer service went downhill really fast.
Aww.
And so we didn't want to sell or be associated with a product that we couldn't stand behind, because we started to have a lot of customers have issues. And I'm like, all right, so that falls in line. And then I mentioned to him, I said, well, they gave me a refund, so at least it feels like they didn't give me a refund. They gave me store credit. At least it feels like they're trying to do the right thing. And he kind of looks at me and he goes, I hope you get it. Like the rotisserie thing. I'm like, oh, what does that mean? And he's like, they have not been fulfilling orders. They've been taking orders. They just stopped fulfilling them. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So I'm sitting and staring at there's this little app that tracks it. It's just sitting.
You don't have a tracking number from a shipping thing. It's literally just
nothing
your
shipping.
Order is in a database somewhere.
Your order has not moved beyond the order received state. And I'm like, so this was, 3 weeks ago now? 2 weeks ago that I ordered it? Anyway, so we'll see if I even get that. The guy didn't feel too confident. I'm like, well,
find out what the parent company is and file a small claims court for like, $235 or whatever it is. And they won't show up and you'll get a judgment for the $235 and I don't know.
Something. I have to do something. Anyway, so there's my little follow-up. It's like, that's kind of a bummer. But the night market was fun. I just found out that don't buy Kamado Joe stuff.
That's too
apparently
bad.
It's the same company that owns Viking. They own a bunch of grill and oven and fireplace, type things. They own a bunch of them. They own a couple different barbecue type companies too. So I went out and looked and saw who else do they own.
Did they buy out Green Mountain Grills? That's what mine is.
No, that's not on their list.
Oh, okay.
No. So anyways, a little bit of a bummer. But
okay, well, my fingers are crossed for you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. How about you? How was your weekend?
Well, I had a really long weekend. It was great. We left last Wednesday and went and spent 5 days at the coast. And
nice.
Came back Sunday just in time for me to kind of, fly out Monday morning here. So, so that was great. We basically went for walks on the beach, sat around the house. We had 8 teenagers, I want to say.
Oh, wow. So a full house, a full house.
Yeah. Well, they weren't there for the whole time, but for a few days. And so that was totally cool. They were just bouncing off the walls and having fun and playing games and just, they went out and got sunburnt and
that's hard to do in Oregon, is get sunburned on the coast. Depends on the time of year, I suppose.
Yeah, not in the summer. It was. We didn't get any sunsets. Like, that's kind of one of the bummer.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Like, the clouds just kind of rolled in. We had these nice, clear middays, like from 10 o'clock in the morning till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon or evening, 5 o'clock maybe. It was just gorgeous. And then the clouds would like roll over the horizon, and it would be like, no sunset for you. But other than that,
bummer.
it was really good. It was fun. And I got a lot of reading in. I got a bit of game playing in. That's why my something fun will be related. And we just relaxed. It was actually our 29th anniversary. So that was kind of what we were celebrating. And so, yeah, had a great long, super long weekend. And then, and then I'm gone all week for this week. So,
right. Did Yumi make your reading list over the weekend?
I've started it, but I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not very far in.
Okay.
But okay. I did start it. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Alrighty.
Yep. It's all good.
Cool.
It's all good. Okay. So, hey, as we start getting into topics, I did have one thing I threw into follow up. Because I think it was, I should have actually looked. I think it was last week. We talked about the government.
Government has a little bit of something extra.
A little bit of extra logging, and they pay for it or whatever. But so Microsoft has released an announcement that they're upping the default logging and retention for all customers.
Okay.
In what does it say? It says, these steps are the result of close coordination with commercial and government customers and with the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, about the types of security log data Microsoft provides to cloud customers for insight and analysis.
Got it.
So, I don't, who knows what some of the back and forths were there, but it says that they are, quote, expanding Microsoft's cloud logging accessibility and flexibility even further. As our expanded logging defaults roll out, Microsoft Purview Audit Standard customers will receive deeper visibility into security data, including detailed logs of email access and more than 30 other types of log data previously only available at the Microsoft Purview Audit Premium subscription level. In addition to new logging events becoming available, Microsoft is also increasing the default retention period for audit standard customers from 90 to 100 days. So,
nice.
Presumably, dramatically increasing the default logging that's available for, and that's the whole point there is try to do anomaly detection.
Right.
And then also doubling the retention from 3 months to 6 months is good. That's step in the right direction. So that's great. I have to imagine that will lead to some interesting findings over the course of the next year or longer.
Well, maybe that'll help with my topic this week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do tell. What's your topic this week?
So my topic this week, the SEC has come out with new requirements for reporting data breaches and when you have to do it. The SEC now requires public companies to report data breaches and hacks 4 business days after they are discovered. So no more holding on to it till you're 8K or 10K or whatever. I'm assuming it's within 4 business days after they are discovered. They have to expose that. So and relay that to the customers. And it does mention there are a couple exceptions, like the SEC says that if a U.S. Attorney General determines that alerting shareholders to the incident would pose a substantial risk to national security or public safety, then you can get a pass. I don't know how many people are going to get a pass for that, but
interesting.
There are some exceptions. And I think one of the things I didn't think of, but it makes total sense, the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, says, whether a company loses a factory in a fire or millions of files in a cybersecurity incident, it may be material to investors, right? So it's your factory burns down and you lose your files that way, you got to report that right away. Here's the other way. So it says, and then he continues, he says, currently many public companies provide cybersecurity disclosure to investors. I think companies and investors alike, however, would benefit if the disclosures were made in a more consistent, comparable, and decision-useful way. So apparently there's a bunch of other rules around this too. So I think that is a good thing. The only, I guess it's not playing devil's advocate, but the thing that cropped up as I read this was, at what point, because breaches and hacks happen all the time. At what point do people just read this the same way they read that California, this material is known to cause cancer and birth defects potentially? Right. That's on every garden hose, every piece of plastic, it's on all sorts of stuff.
Right.
At what point do people just go, all right, yet another one. Okay.
The numb to the announcements. I wonder. So it says, I'm looking at your notes there.
Yep.
It says they'll have to file a 8K.
Mm-hmm.
That will be have a new item 1.05 for cybersecurity incidents. I wonder how many. It'll be an interesting data point to see how many 8Ks are filed with the 1.05 section filled in 2024.
Right. I'm going to bet all of them. The over-under is high, I think.
Yeah. Did it say when this is going to go into effect?
Let's see. 90 days after December 18th, 2023, or when they have their first 10K after December 15th, 2023. So it's it'll be in 2024, basically planned for 2024.
Planned for December, January, so basically March.
Yeah.
March-ish of 24. Okay.
Yep.
That's interesting.
So there you go.
That's very interesting. Okay. Yeah, very related. Very related. Okay. Well, my topic for tonight was let's see, what was it? JumpCloud. JumpCloud had shared some information at the beginning of July about an attack, and then the article that I'll put in here is from Sentinel-1 about basically attributing the JumpCloud attack to North Korea. Mm. So and there were a couple of interesting, sort of A plus B and B plus C, therefore, A is related to, D kind of things in here, right. which was kind of cool. So it said, IT management service JumpCloud publicly shared details gathered from the investigation into an intrusion on their network with a bunch of, and sorry, I'm not quoting anymore, a bunch of IOCs. So IP addresses and domain names and stuff like that. But the only attribution that was done by the company itself was, quote, an unnamed, and then quote in the article, sophisticated nation-state sponsored threat actor. But, so Sentinel-1 is saying that, quote, reviewing the newly released indicators of compromise, we associate the cluster of threat activity to a North Korean state-sponsored APT. The IOCs are linked to a wide variety of activity we attribute to DPRK, overall centric to the supply chain targeting approach seen in previous campaigns. And then there were a couple of things that they had in there, but one of the things that I pulled out was interesting. It said the indicator and this particular IP address that was shared by JumpCloud does not host any domains from the list they shared, JumpCloud shared, but we can see one similar through the use of passive DNS data and the domain name, which was also just recently shared by GitHub in an alert of their own. So, the interesting hook there is that, the similar or identical domains similar domains hosted on the same IP address, even though, the JumpCloud didn't disclose a domain hosted on that particular IP. But it's not clear. At least it says based on public details available. So I don't know if they're basing anything. I don't know if there was a indication of who JumpCloud pulled in for doing some analysis. I didn't notice it, at least. But based on the public details available as of this writing, it's unclear if the GitHub alert originated from the JumpCloud incident or if they're separate alerts by the same attack or separate efforts by the same attacker. So that's that was kind of what was interesting there. I think. Let me actually.
So it's is that the associative or commutative property of?
Mathematically, I'm gonna. Normally that would be commutative, but I'm gonna say that based on the context and it's not mathematical, it makes more sense to call it an associative of property since they are associated. Anyway. But
computers are all math.
Yeah. So the ironic thing is, so JumpCloud. I'm looking at the little image that was in the article. So JumpCloud shared the IOC of the IP address, and GitHub shared the IOC of the domain name. But the domain name is hosted on that. The domain name that GitHub shared is hosted on the IP address that JumpCloud shared. So that's the sort of tie there, which was kind of cool, kind of good. And the last sort of thing here that I pulled out was that it's evident. Here's the quote for the paragraph. It is evident that North Korean threat actors are continuously adapting and exploring novel methods to infiltrate targeted networks. The JumpCloud intrusion serves as a clear illustration of their inclination towards supply chain targeting, which yields a multitude of potential subsequent intrusions. So it's about getting data to make another link. Sorry, that was John's outro. Back to the quote. The DPRK demonstrates a profound understanding of the benefits derived from meticulously selecting high-value targets as a pivot point to conduct supply chain attacks into fruitful networks. Yeah, so high-value targets is the comment. So that was my first article. So the second thing I did, just when I was kind of sitting here doing my notes, and I was like, I noticed on Skype that they have a chatbot integration, and they were like, hey, sign up for the chatbot integration. So I was like, oh, yeah. You didn't have to sign up, but you had to click through I agree, this is an early preview.
Right.
So I asked it, what are the top 10 cyber threats of 2023?
Okay.
So, it did provide links that I did not go back and read to try and see if I could check its citing of sources and stuff like that. But at least the top few are interesting. I don't know, again, what data might be hypothetically backing this, but it didn't actually give me 10. It gave me 8. So I can't count to 10. Okay. Okay.
There are only 8 cybersecurity attacks anyways.
Yeah. Well, so
The problem
I said
was with your prompt, not with the answer.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. Blame the victim. Am I the victim? Blame the originator. So I'm just going to name the 8 here, which I could probably argue this. Phishing, ransomware, cloud security, interesting. Business email compromise,
generic.
okay.
Yeah.
IoT misuse, okay. DNS spoofing, man-in-the-middle attacks, and SQL injection. So those were their 8.
Yeah.
Assuming I counted that correctly.
SQL injection just feels old school. That's like, what kind of attack are you doing? I use Fortran, or I use SQL injection.
That's not quite the same.
It's close.
Yeah.
I'm a COBOL programmer. I'm a hacker that uses SQL injection. I mean, it's same buckets.
I'm gonna say you're still like maybe 2 decades apart, but it doesn't negate the fact that it sure seems like that was like 2 decades ago. So
yeah.
Old man yells at SQL injection. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. I thought okay, it might be, and there was some interesting. So the intros and outros of this were also kind of good. So I wondered if this was like like a curated answer or something like that. So when I asked it, it said, "That's a good question. Cybersecurity is a constantly evolving field, and cyber criminals are always finding new ways to exploit vulnerabilities in systems. According to various sources, some of the top cyber threats for 2023 are," and then it listed all the things.
Right.
But then at the very end, it said, "These are some of the cyber threats that you should be aware of and prepared for in 2023. To protect yourself and your organization from these threats, you should follow some best practices, such as," and then here it goes into a list: "Use strong and unique passwords for all your accounts. Enable multi-factor authentication wherever possible. Avoid clicking on suspicious links or attachments in emails. Update your software and firmware regularly. Back up your data frequently. Use encryption and VPN services when transmitting sensitive data. And educate yourself and your staff on how to recognize and report cyber attacks." Okay, right. I'll go for every one of those. And probably pretty much in that order.
Not bad.
Yeah, so good job. So I asked ChatGPT the same thing. And it said, "As an AI language model, I don't have real-time data and my knowledge is up to September 2021. Therefore, I cannot provide a list of the top 10 cyber threats of 2023. Cyber threats are constantly evolving and new ones may emerge over time." So, okay. I guess I'm a little surprised that it didn't try and answer it anyway. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know what you were doing because I happened to catch you actually typing that in to the notes. What are the top 10 cyber threats of 2023? And I thought that was a question to me, because sometimes before we get on audio and video, we'll chat. And my answer was, what are the top 10 cyber threats of 2023? Elon Musk. All 10, 1 through 10. I was being funny. I didn't know this was a real thing you were doing.
Real by some definition. Real by some definition.
Artificially real.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Okay, my friend, how about something fun tonight? What you got for me?
All right, so mine is still books. It's summer reading time. So I think I told you about the Red Rising series.
I have read the first 3 of that, I want to say.
Okay. So book 6, the finale. The finale of those books came out yesterday. And I started reading it last night when I was really tired. And I put it down because I'm like, I need to start from scratch because I can't. I will forget everything I read. So I haven't started yet, but it's on my probably this weekend, or I'm off on vacation next week. So it'll probably be next week. So I'm pretty sure that I mentioned this Red Rising book series at a previous time as my something fun. So now, just so you know, the finale, book 6 is out. If you thought the other books were interesting, I have no idea how it's going to end, but I'm looking forward to reading it.
I enjoyed the first couple of those, and I forget why. Like maybe anyway, I got distracted into something else, and I never wound up reading them. But I was having to buy them though too. Maybe that was one of my things. I've been reading a lot of free books on Kindle Unlimited, but
right, yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
And this one is not like most Kindle books are, $10, $8 if you want to buy them. This one was $15. So I guess I really wanted to hear the end. And the audiobook, I usually get the audiobooks with them because that's a few extra bucks. Even though I don't have the Kindle Unlimited, I'm not paying $25 for the audiobook on this one.
Yeah.
So give it some time. It'll probably go down.
Yeah. I've trained my kids. I'm like, do not spend, like, they don't buy audiobooks without me, but I'm like, don't use my Audible points for like a $7 audio book, because Audible points actually cost. I think it's like $12 or $15 or something like that by the end. Yeah. By the time you like amortize the subscription or whatever. I'm like, those are. I use those for the $27 audiobooks that I really want.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's all good.
So there you go. That's my something fun. Red Rising series, book 6 is out.
I like it. I will have to get to that. But after I finish my current series and after I read Yumi.
Okay.
Which I did get, by the way. I did get the hardcover for Yumi. And those books are beautiful.
Yeah.
I bet. They're very, very cool books. Okay. I chose my something fun, a game on Steam that I played a bunch of. I've played a lot of it historically. But there's tons and tons of content coming out for it all the time. And then I played it a bunch this past weekend while I was sitting in the living room. And it's called Stellaris. As I know you know, but like I love 4X games, like strategy games. Generally turn-based strategy games. Like, I play a lot. I've played Civilization. I've played tons of them. And this is an interesting twist on a 4X game, in that it's not quite real time. So remember, it was Warcraft, the old original Warcrafts, where like you sent people out and like time moved on, and it was a real time strategy game. It's kind of like that, but you can pause it at any point and like set up all your strategy that you want to do, and then unpause time, and you can make time go slow or fast. But it's set in space. You start on a planet, and you explore, expand, exploit, exterminate, and conquer the galaxy. And I don't.
Now, is it an MMO or is it just you?
No, it's just your own single. I think you can. Yeah, not. I think I know you can do multiplayer, but
it's a limited multiplayer. It's not a.
Yeah, no,
massive.
Like just a few people.
Okay.
Can do it. No, it's not a MMO.
Okay.
No, it's just a game. It takes a game will take a long time. Hours and hours and hours.
Right.
But I really have enjoyed. Like if I do have some hours that I'm not reading, or one of my things I'll do here is I'll play but listen to a book.
Right.
Or something like that. But
okay.
Anyway, it's fun. I like it. And I spent too many hours this past weekend playing it. So I was like, well, that's pretty much what I had fun with this past week. So there you go, Stellaris.
Cool.
It's a good game.
Awesome. All right, dude.
All right. Well, so
short one.
Yeah, and I think next week, since you're on,
I'm heading out. Vacation. We're doing a Mostly Fun Volume 2
Mostly Fun
next
Volume
week.
2. Yep, because you're on vacation and I'm actually traveling as well. So we thought it would be a little tricky to try and connect next week.
It wasn't going to work because where I'm going, there is no internet, at least until the weekend.
Yeah, so
So
there you go. We'll do a Mostly Fun.
Alrighty.
Sounds good. All right, Eric. Have a great night.
We'll see you.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.